Shekel was established in 1972 by two immigrants from the USSR to Israel in a small kibbutz, small village, in which they came from the mining industry. And apparently in the mining industry, mechanical scales work in a very strange way because of changes in gravitations, etc. And they were looking for solutions for that issues. So there were two engineers from Russia coming. They were working in the mining industry, and they wanted to look for a solution about the gravitation changes inside the mine. So what they took analog to digital converter, and they changed the pressure of the weight into digital format. And then they could really control, modify it, adjust it properly. This was the beginning of digital weighing. It was back in the 1970s. Everybody was weighing with a very old way of mechanical scales, which is 3,000 years old. And when they took that and they started introducing it to the market, Shekel was established. At the first, we had to convince people why digital is better than mechanical. It took us about 20 years or so. And the next stage was that we identified that this becomes a really standard of the market. There was regulation, it was acknowledged by the scientific community, and everybody was happy with that. We identified that we gained something more. It was several years later we identified that we could really identify a product by its weight behavior. When we started collecting data from the weights, the digital weights, and we gained millions and tens of millions of data entries about each and every SKU, we could really analyze it with deep data or big data tools and AI, and we could see that Diet Coke is behaving a bit differently from Coke. And we could really say the difference between this one and that one. And we have very, very sensitive sensors on one hand and very robust sensors on the other hand. It's very flexible, it's very fast. This is the fastest in the industry. And that's the reason that most of the self-checkout companies that want to verify what you took by the weight are using Shekel. We have about 1 million points of sale around the world that are using our technology. We work the leading brands of the industry. It's Toshiba, Fujitsu, Diebold Nixdorf, several very large companies. And we have it all over the world, from US to Asia to Europe, working in most of the biggest brands of supermarkets and retail stores. We started with the product identification feature in 2018, when a young engineer came from with a brilliant idea of doing frictionless shopping, meaning that you take products off the shelf and then you could identify it. He thought first to use cameras, but then he found it's not very efficient, and he thought that if he had the weight measurement, then he could be more accurate. And then he came to Shekel and he saw our technology and he started using it, and he found out that he doesn't need a camera. And he could really use that one. So it was 2018, young engineer. We established a kind of startup within Shekel. So we have our legs in the ground, but our heads in the sky. And we're dealing with very advanced technologies of AI, machine learning, etc. on one hand, and very robust and basic hardware business of accurate weighing, regulated weighing, for healthcare, for retail, where it's the highest regulated technology in the world. We first encapsulated this technology into what we call smart fridge, which acts like a vending machine in a way, that it allows the shopper to consume what he wants without any assistance. And it's called self-shopping or frictionless shopping or unattended shopping. And basically the idea of a vending machine was that you can buy every product everywhere, anytime. And we wanted to do the same solution, but allow selling products that you cannot really sell in vending. Because in vending situation, nobody buys fresh food. The packages doesn't fit it. You want to see first what you buy before you pay. So these things were limiting the vending machine to sell snacks and soda, basically. And people wanted more and more healthy, fresh food on the go. And smart fridge was the right thing, because you can open the door, you can select what you want, and then you can return it back, and then you can go with that. So this was the idea about taking the technology of product recognition, putting it first in this simple solution. Then we extended it to frictionless stores, smart carts, many other solutions that are dealing with self-shopping. All the types of self-shopping we are now supporting with our product recognition technologies, and we are teaming up with very large companies to allow basically every common shopper to go into the store, take whatever you want, get out of the store without going through the till or through the queue, etc.
We're looking here and we're demonstrating a smart cooler. You can call it the next generation of smart vending, where you can actually select and choose the products that are inside yourself versus a vending machine that normally only can select and give you one product at a time that once bought, you cannot return. With a smart cooler, you can pick it up, watch, look what kind of products you have, and bring it back if you don't like it. The kind of features that you have here, it's a real-time product that is available for your consumers 24/7. It's a very flexible system where you can choose what kind of products are more popular and you can select them for your smart cooler to sell. So a smart cooler you can place at every floor of a hotel. You can place it in areas where a lot of people pass by. You can position it as well in a lobby. And what we do see, where we see additional revenue increasing, is locations like the gym. Locations where people actually meet and where it's not directly the ability to provide them with food 24/7. With the smart cooler, you're able to provide them just that. Outside of the hotel, we have them located in gyms. We have located them at retail locations for those companies that go for lunch. We have them in cantinas. We have them in factory locations. So all the locations where indeed people are in need for food, but where a cantina would be too expensive, or where you don't have the ability to provide them food, fresh food all the time. With the smart cooler, you're able to provide them exactly fresh food 24/7. So if you place a smart cooler, the huge benefit of it is your average transaction value is higher than a regular vending machine. Why? Normally you would press one number, you get one product, maybe they buy two, but with a smart cooler you actually see that people are more often buying 2 or 3 products at the same time, which gives you a higher average transaction value and gives you an increase in revenue. We see that each smart cooler has a higher revenue per month versus a vending machine. So the operator itself has a real-time insight in what's going on with their smart cooler fleet. So they know exactly the amount of sales, the products that are still inside of the smart cooler, when they need to actually send out the stockers for refilling the coolers. The real time for this cooler is on the moment that something is sold, you actually know of the transaction itself. You know the indication of amount of products that you still have inside of the cooler. Versus a vending machine who's actually in the blind of what's happening with the vending machine. On the moment that a hotel decides to have a full cooler fleet, they actually have real-time insight of all the coolers that are positioned in the hotels on different locations. They know the amount of products that are still in there by looking at the management console. In the management console, they see, are the coolers online? What is the actual status? Are they selling? What's the revenue per month? They have a real-time dashboard that gives them the indication on what's going on at any time. So you have 2 options. They're either connected via Wi-Fi and they're connected to the cloud management console, or you use a landline. So both options give you direct insight in communicating with the cooler. The real benefit for the end user is they have the ability to do the shopping themselves, open the door, look at the products, if they're fresh, what kind of ingredients are in there. If they like it, they can buy it. If they don't like it, they can put it back. So they have the flexibility of actually selecting the products that they want. So the end consumer is actually happy with what they bought. Versus a vending machine where you choose something, and if you don't like it, you still bought it. So what we see with operators, they really want to have insight in real time. A lot of technologies claim they're real time, but they're not. With the wait, we're under 200 milliseconds, and we're able to give you the real-time insight on what's happening in the cooler, which not only benefits the operator, but it benefits the consumer as well, because it identifies exactly what you're buying. So the way that we designed the smart cooler is that anyone can use and work with the smart cooler. It's a seamless experience where you just use your bank card, it opens the door, and it gives you the ability to do the shopping. There's nothing new, there's no technology that is interfering, it's all self-explaining and a seamless experience. So let me show you how the smart cooler works and what kind of features that it actually has. So you can use any payment device that you could use, bank card, credit card, Google Pay, whatever it is that your consumers are using. You just tap the card, it checks and validates your bank account in the background, and on the moment it is validated, it gives you the ability to open the door. The e-lock opens. If you open the door, you can choose whatever products that you want. Let me take the quiche Lorraine, feeling like a quiche, and going for the iced coffee. On the moment that you select the products, it directly shows you in real time what you are selecting. If you decide you don't want the product, you put it back, and it shows you that it's being put back as well. On the moment that you say, hey, I don't want a quiche Lorraine, but you position it in the wrong location, it asks you to put it back in the right location. So you keep your planogram in shape. On the moment that I choose for the quiche Lorraine and I close the door, on that moment, the actual products that you bought will be processed, and that will be deducted from your bank account. You can either tap it, swipe it, stick it in. It validates on the background, and then it actually gives a signal to open the door if it's a valid bank account. So on the moment the door is open, as a consumer, you can take whatever products that you want. If you want to have a quiche Lorraine, if you want to have the iced coffee, you just take the products and it shows you on the screen the products that have been selected. It is in real time, it is fast, so the consumer actually have the confidence that it's deducting the products that you are buying. If I put it back, it gives you as well directly the insight on all the products that have been put back. On the moment that I choose a product and I put it back in the wrong location, it shows you, please return it to the original location.
So Scobie Macintosh was a UK distributor for Shekel, and I've been working with them now for around about 30 months. So we've got a really good relationship, built that really well. We've now probably placed around about 24 units into the UK market. We mainly work with contract caterers, and typically they're going into locations like a sixth form education, logistic distribution centres, office environments where you've got office workers at the desk, nowhere to go, no facilities on site. So this is give the client a really good way of feeding their staff in terms of offering sandwiches, meals, etc. And that's worked really well. And it's probably worked so well in most cases that compared to the offering they were doing in terms of food or normal vending before, they're probably at 100 to 150% uplift in turnover. So their return on investment is then much quicker. And I guess hence now the contract caterers, they want to spread the machines out further across their estate. So that's been really good for us so far.